Well, hello, my name is Mr. Hilpert, and today we're going to be looking at how to set up a Lincoln PowerMIG 350 MP. And we're going to set this machine up for stick welding process. We can also set this machine up for MIG and TIG and flux core. But today we're just going to look at stick process, or SMAW process. Now, to get started, we need to go ahead and take care of a few things. We're going to be playing a lot with the power of this machine, so we're going to need to unplug the machine. Now, you might think, well, gee, Mr. Hilpert, the machine is off. Why do we need to unplug it? And the truth of the matter is, you want to unplug it to remove any power from the system. We're going to completely isolate this machine from the electrical system. In our case, we unplug it, but if the machine were to be hardwired into the building, then you'd need to use a lockout tagout system to do the same. But this makes it so we can get in here and we can touch things like these two posts without any type of fear that we might get zapped by short or something like that, because the power just simply isn't on the device. Now, as I mentioned before, this machine will handle both wire feed and sticks, so these two parts here we're going to basically ignore, but this is the wire for the wire feed process, and this is our feed mechanism for the wire feed process. A couple things we do need to pay attention to are these two terminals right here. This is our positive terminal, and this is our negative terminal. And these are going to come into play in just a few moments. So, a couple things we need to do is we need to understand that we're going to set this machine up for a certain type of welding rod. We're going to be using 7018 and 6010 welding rods, and they both like to have the electrode be on the positive side of the machine. So we're going to set that up in just a moment. So, we've turned off the power. Next thing we need to do is we need to inspect our equipment to make sure that it's still electrically sound. So I'm going to go through and look at the cable and feel the cable and look for any type of damage on our electrode holder cable. I'm also going to inspect the insulation on the electrode holder itself. Make sure that unless I do something stupid like shove my finger inside that clamp, I'm not going to get shocked or anything, that it's all electrically isolated. And once we know it is, we can go ahead and hook it up. So that's our electrode holder. I've got the end here. I'm going to shove the end through this little hole right there. I'm going to put this right here on that terminal. Boom. I'll take a nut, and I'm just gonna put that on finger tight at the moment. One thing I'm gonna do before I tighten it down too much is I'm gonna make sure that this lead is pushed over to the side here so that it's out of the way. Now we're gonna come over to our grounding clamp and we're going to inspect it. Okay. Again, making sure that there's no exposed wires where there shouldn't be exposed wires. To feel the cable, make sure it's not cracked or anything like that. And once you're sure that it's safe, we can go ahead and attach it. Same thing, shove it through the hole, plunk it down over the lug there, and put a bolt or nut down on top of it. Now, one thing that's really important to make sure you're doing is making sure that this terminal and all the exposed metal do not in any way, shape, or form touch each other. If they were to touch each other, it would cause a short. This is also a big reason why we made sure to disconnect the power. Is at some point when we're installing this, it's more than likely that this terminal and this terminal are going to touch each other somehow. We want to make sure that there's no power to this machine at all for that to cause problems. Okay, so now that we've got those two terminals tied down and our two clamps are nice and far apart, we can go ahead and close our lid here and plug in our machine. So here is our plug, and if you'll notice, on the inside it's got these little studs right there and right here, and this little channel right there. We're going to line those up with the same studs and channels on the wall receptacle. Plug in all the way and then rotate. And give it a gentle tug just to make sure everything is properly attached. Gentle. Alright, so now we've got power, we've got hooked up leads. Let's go and turn this machine on. It's going to take it a few seconds to boot up. These are computerized machines, and so they will take just a little bit time to get set up. It's thinking about things. Hey, alright. So I'm going to take a quick look at the dials, and hey, look, this machine thinks we're going to be doing wire feed. So we need to switch it down to stick, just so we can test the machine and make sure it's working properly. Process 1 is stick in this case. And I need to make sure that the machine is going to turn on its ventilation system or its fans when we start welding. So let's go ahead and rotate the delta on. We can hear the fan. I can feel the air coming in hitting my leg. So I think we're good. From here on, we can actually go ahead and start welding, but for now I'm just going to turn the machine off and move on to a different machine. That's how you set one of these machines up. Hope you have a good day.